Welcome back, V.O.C. YouTube channel, College Football Edition. I think there's now parity again in college football. This season has been very fun. When you look at it just all across the board, I feel like it's closer than it's ever been when it comes to teams, successive teams, how many teams are involved compared to years past. It feels fun again. So I'm going to talk about that, do kind of a deeper dive into that, and then picks for this week. Mainly just breaking down some big games that have happened and then looking forward to this week and beyond when it comes down to the college football season as it is closing in on some teams with 3 games left before conference championship week starts. So let's jump into it. When you look at what happened last week, right? Number 4 Clemson loses to Notre Dame 35-14. Notre Dame pretty much manhandled them. Ran the ball down their throat. I was there. Great time. Went on the field. It was an awesome environment. Something that I feel like, clearly hasn't happened in South Bend in a long time, but just the feeling, the energy, that's not happened in a very long time. Certainly did not happen under Brian Kelly. These are the kind of things that I feel like Marcus Freeman can do compared to Brian Kelly, bringing excitement, bringing energy around it. That was not before. But Clemson, look, we've looked at them and we said, man, they're vulnerable. They've had chances to really cement themselves, and they come in close games and they have to come back and win. This week, it was just a collection of Notre Dame just playing the best game that they have under Marcus Freeman so far. Clemson not showing up pretty much is what it was. The 2 quarterback system didn't work. The freshman Cade Klubnik came in, first pass and only pass, interception. So Clemson had no fight on either side of the line of scrimmage, and you're supposed to have 2 top 10 picks supposedly on the defensive line. They got manhandled. Your offensive line looks awful. Proves that you've not recruited in that position greatly in a very long time. Clemson, if you think about it historically, they've never had great offensive line prospects. And their quarterback situation is not very good. Skill-wise, they don't have a lot. They just got exposed all over the board. And something I think a lot of people saw coming for a while, and it finally happened. Now, Georgia, who was 3, beat number 1 Tennessee at home 27-13. Georgia kind of cemented themselves as, look, we are the best team in the country. We're going to prove it today, and they did. The weather turned out to be very bad in the second half, but they were just dominant against the Tennessee offense, who was scoring like 40 points a game. And I just thought the moment was too big for Tennessee. I said that going into last week. When you have to go into a game in Georgia, at Georgia, like a game like that, I didn't think they had a shot. That game's at home, they maybe have a shot. So we saw that happen. Number 10, LSU beat number 6, Alabama, 32-31 in overtime. Brian Kelly. It was weird how it worked. Marcus Freeman got his first big win at Notre Dame, and Brian Kelly got his first big win at LSU. Same weekend. Look, Alabama now has 2 losses. They are pretty much out of the playoff, I'd say, with 2 losses, but you never know what could happen with this season and how it's going. LSU now gets a big boost to their resume as they have 2 losses now. Now they're basically in the driver's seat to go to the SEC title game. But it was one of those things where, yet again, Clemson and Alabama kind of got exposed this weekend to what they don't have. Alabama does not have perimeter wide receiver weapons like they've had in years past. Defensively, they don't have what they've had in years past. They have great rushers. The middle of their defense struggles. When you look at the season overall, only 4 Power 5 conference teams remain undefeated. That's Georgia at 9-0, Ohio State at 9-0, Michigan at 9-0, TCU at 9-0. And we know Ohio State, Michigan, they're going to play in a couple weeks. So that eliminates one. TCU's kind of that, I think, the Clemson of this week. Like, are they going to lose? Can they lose situation? When I look at it, this is pretty much what the transfer portal NIL has brought in, and this is where it's helped the game. Now, people talk about it's hurt the game. This is where it's helped the game. We have more competitive teams, more competitive games. Teams in the middle and lower echelon are closer. Now, there's still, I think, a gap at the top, but I don't think it's as big as it has been in years past. You look at Alabama losing 2 games in the year, Clemson losing like they did. we've just seen this now happen to where the teams we thought at the top are not too much farther ahead than every other team. More teams have a shot, and it works, and it helps out more. This year, we're talking about so many teams, so many different scenarios of what could happen, how this could happen. It's crazy. It hasn't happened in a very long time. Each league looks better around the country. I mean, the Pac-12 has 5 ranked teams. Big 12 has 3 ranked teams. ACC has 4 ranked teams. Big 10 has 4 ranked teams. SEC has 6 ranked teams. That's a lot. When you look at it nationally, that's a lot. For the Pac-12 to have 5 ranked teams, they have a couple in the top 10. UCLA should be in the top 10. When you look down at it, it's very interesting. This is where I like to see college football going. People don't like NIL. People don't like the transfer portal. This are the benefits you get of that kind of stuff. So get over the bitching and camoaning of, I don't like this. I don't like how the players get paid this or this and how they just leave. Look, this only helps the sport at the end of the day. We get better football to watch, better teams come throughout the season, and they're playing against each other. So it's one of those things where, oh, I don't like this, I don't like this. Well, this is where it's helped. I think more of this is going to happen as the season continues, and then as the years evolve the next few years, to where college football it's a better product. It's a product that gets more people involved because it's not just this region anymore. It can be a whole countrywide thing again, and it makes it fun. So yeah, like I said, this past weekend was very fun. It was exciting to watch because you don't know what the hell is going to happen week to week. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But this year, it feels like you really don't know. But it's setting up for some big, big games these last 3 weeks. So let's jump into this week's picks. I was 4-3 last week, 41-30 on the year. I wish I was 41-13 on the year. This week is probably the most picks I've ever made in a week. I have 11 picks this week. I just feel like there's a lot of games where, not that they're ranked versus ranked opponents, but there's some good, solid teams going up against other good, solid teams. All right, so first game, number 7 LSU, who's 7-2. They're a 3.5-point favorite, going to Arkansas, who's 4-5. This is a game where LSU just beat Alabama. Can they continue on this path? Go to Arkansas, not the easiest opponent of all time, coming off that crazy win that they got a lot of energy taken away from them. Took a lot to beat them. Brian Kelly finally gets that win. This is one of those where it's like, it's crazy to look at, but it's like, do you like Arkansas in this game? Let me see if KJ Jefferson is playing. If he's playing for Arkansas, I might pick Arkansas. I know this is something I should have did before, but I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to pick Arkansas to win this game. Just because. I think LSU lost a lot of energy. I think Arkansas wins this game. I think they can come in and do it. Crazy pick, but I think they can do it. All right. Purdue, 5-4 at number 21, Illinois. Illinois 7-2. They're minus 6.5-point favorites. They just lost to Michigan State at home last week. Can they continue to get it back up to then end up in the Big Ten title game? I like Illinois, but it'll be interesting to see how these teams bounce back from crazy weekend last weekend. All right, probably this might be the biggest game of the weekend when it comes to the SEC West potential if LSU were to lose. Number 9, Alabama, 7-2. They're 12-point favorites at number 11, Ole Miss. Ole Miss only has 1 loss in the year, as to LSU at LSU. This is Nick Saban versus Lane Kiffin, the Lane Train. I think Alabama wins this game, but I think it can be close because Lane's going to have... He's been digging in. He's been getting ready on Twitter for this game. I think Alabama ultimately wins, but I think Lane will keep it interesting and keep it fun. All right, Illinois, 6-3 at number 10, Clemson. Clemson's 8-1 now. They're 7-point favorites. I think this game's close. I think Clemson will play both quarterbacks in this game to figure some things out. But I think they end up winning this game and try and figure out how do they move forward and who they move forward with at quarterback. All right, Maryland is 6-3 at number 14, Penn State, who is 7-2. Penn State's a 10-point favorite. Penn State is playing for the third spot in the Big Ten East. They're playing for potential New Year's Six game. I like Penn State to win this game. It'll be interesting to watch Maryland's offense versus Penn State's defense. Number 22, UCF, who's 7-2 at number 17, Tulane. Tulane is 8-1. Tulane's a 1.5 point favorite. This is basically who wins this game. They might have to play again in the conference championship game, but you win this game. This gives you a shot to be in the New Year's Six Bowl with the highest ranked non-Power 5 conference team. I like Tulane to win this game, but I think it'll be very interesting. It'll be a very close game. It'll be a tight one, and I wouldn't be surprised if these teams play again. Number 25, Washington, who's 7-2 at number 6, Oregon. Oregon is a 13-point favorite. Oregon has come in and just kind of started to roll in the Pac-12 since that loss to Georgia. Bo Nix can clearly play in every conference but the SEC. I like Oregon in this game, but Washington is going to keep it interesting with the way they can throw the ball down the field. Number 19, Kansas State, 6-3 at Baylor, 6-3. Baylor's a 2.5 point favorite. I like Baylor. I picked Baylor last week to beat Oklahoma. They're a sleeper when it comes to the Big 12. Kansas State might be ranked, but they just lose to Texas. I like Baylor. Good coach, good football team to win this game. Number 4, TCU, 9-0 at number 18, Texas. Texas is 6-3. Texas is a 7-point favorite. I think this is the Clemson of last week. That's TCU. I like Clemson to win this game. TCU, they come from behind. They're not as good as Texas if you look on paper. Max Duggan, their quarterback, is having a hell of a season carrying them. But I think when you look at it at the end of the day, I like Texas and I like Quinn Ewers to pull this one out and get them into the driver's seat for the Pac-12 championship game where they might have to play TCU again depending on how TCU finishes the season. Number 15, North Carolina at 8-1 at Wake Forest, who is 6-3. Wake is a 4-point favorite. I like North Carolina in this one. North Carolina's a freshman quarterback in Drake May, who's very, very talented. They've had a quiet year. I'd say 8-1. North Carolina's had a very quiet year. They lose to Notre Dame at home, but they continue to churn along. Mac Brown is a great coach. We all know that. He's got a quarterback to where it's like, this kid's pretty good. He's got weapons on offense. You never know what's going to happen. All right, last game. Number 23, Florida State, who's 6-3, 7-point favorite at Syracuse, who's 6-3. Syracuse has just kind of fumbled along here these last few weeks. They were undefeated, and then they lose to Notre Dame, lose to Clemson. They just slowly started to fall apart here. This is an interesting game when you look at it at the end of the day. Actually, I don't know who to go with here. I'm going to go with... I am going to go... This is a tough one. I don't really know who to go with here. I'm going to take Syracuse just to do it. I think they right the ship a little bit, show what they showed throughout the first couple weeks of 6 weeks of the season before they started to go downhill. I like it. So, yeah, 11 games this week. This is a big week when it comes to picks. Big. And I can pick 11 games a week because there's more parity in college football. You people that don't like it, like the NIL, they don't like the transfer portal, but you like these bigger games, don't you? That's all I can say. So that's going to do it for this week. Thanks for watching.